Hey guys, happy Tuesday. It's Daryl here. As you can see, I just walked in the door for my usual daily 6-mile hike, and today I made some mistakes, and I want to tell you guys. I want to tell you guys about some of the mistakes I made today. I came face to face with an angry coyote. Let me fill you in on this. I always try to learn. When I have near misses or accidents, like on my mountain bike, in my car, or on a city street with other people or whatever, or in the woods. I try to learn from my mistakes. Seriously, if you don't learn from your mistakes, you are condemned to repeat them, and that's not bull, man. All right, so I go for my usual walk up where you guys have seen me before, up at the dam. Right? Mistake number one: I'm in a hurry. I forget to bring my cleats. Let me show you what I'm wearing. Yeah, sweatpants and sneakers. Not a good idea. I was in a hurry today, and it snowed and iced yesterday. I was in a big hurry. I wasn't thinking, using my head this morning. I didn't put cleats on, which I usually do, and I usually have pants instead of these sweatpants, and out of all days, I wore this. And I said, screw it. I'm just going to go for a quick walk. Quick meaning 90 minutes. I get up there, I get out of the car. I always have I don't have my walking stick with me, but it's a big solid walking stick. I bring it with me all the time. Actually has a compass in the end of it. You guys probably seen them sold at surplus stores, but I've had this one for a long time. All right, so I jump out of the car, and I start walking, and I realize I forgot my leather gloves that I usually bring with me. So I got no leather gloves. It's under 32. No cleats. I'm wearing sweatpants. Off to a stupid start already. So I go down and I start. I'm like, oh, screw it. So I'm trying to stay on my feet because it's all iced over. And I decide it's easier to walk on the back. There's a back deserted road. Now, it's probably been plowed maybe a couple weeks ago. So it's got about 2 inches of pack ice underneath. And then it's got about 1 inch or 2 of fresh snow from last night. Fresh snow on top, right? So there's no fresh tracks. That's going to become important in a second. All right, now I'm thinking about the work I'm going to do today. I'm starting a new painting, and I got all these ideas. I'm so excited. I'm in one of those inspired moods, and I've got this picture of what I want to do, and I'm getting all these ideas, and I'm excited. I'm talking to myself. I'm not paying attention to what's anything around me. Big mistake. You guys, even if you're going down a street, you've gone down 100 times. If you're going down a path in the woods, you've gone down 100 times. Pay attention to your surroundings. Listen, look around. Always do that. I know it sounds like, I sound like a mother hen or whatever, but it's important, especially on streets, I found, keeping your head up and aware of in the city streets. It makes a big difference. It can make a huge difference whether you're a victim or not a victim. But anyway, so I'm walking. I went about 2.5 miles. The whole time I'm walking, I'm looking down and I'm thinking about my painting, not paying attention. It's all woods. There's no nothing. No homes, no streets, there's no paved roads, no signs, no nothing. I'm just on snow that's been cleared maybe a couple weeks ago. I'm walking on packed snow. But I'm staring right down, and I'm not paying attention to the one set of tracks that are fresh, brand new, fresh tracks, and I'm looking at them the whole time I'm walking down this dirt road. Didn't occur to me till after. They're animal tracks. They're wild animal tracks. And I'm walking, staring down, looking at these tracks the whole way. They're canine tracks, okay? They're about 18 inches apart. And I'm staring at them the whole way. The thing I didn't click, there was no human tracks along with them. And if I had looked around, there was some scat. And, if I had been paying attention, it wasn't from a domesticated dog. You could tell that. I don't want to get too descriptive on scat here, but it wasn't a domesticated dog. And there's no human footprints, but there's fresh canine. Now, I'm wondering if it's a bobcat, but bobcat, you could usually see the pads, and the back main part of the paw kind of ends flat, and there's 4 pads. Usually, this is what I learned, and you can't see the claws, because the claws, usually, this is the way I've learned, is cats' claws are retractable, so you don't see the claws usually with a bobcat. With a coyote or canines, you see the claws. You see, and it's more rounded. The pads are more around the paw with claws, like this, like two claws in front. So it looks like a canine. So I'm walking, and I'm getting on this straightaway, and I hear this bizarre sound. I stopped immediately. The thing that went through my head right off the bat is, was that a child yelling, a person yelling? And then I'm thinking, is this a wounded dog? And I'm listening, and you know, if you're familiar with the woods, your instincts go up because it's not something you're used to hearing. It sounded, I'm going to tell you guys, when I thought about it after, it sounded like a smaller dog that smokes 2 packs of cigarettes a day. That's the only thing I could say what it sounded like. I've heard bobcats before. Any of you guys heard bobcats? Good Lord, I don't even know how to describe the ungodly screeching sound that bobcats make, but this wasn't quite that. It was a very disturbing bark. And you could tell it's facing me, you know? And I stop, and I'm looking. Because you could tell it's pointed at me. You could tell by the sound, the reverb, the sound of the bark. And it's harsh, and it's aggressive, and it's pointed at me. And finally, about a football field down, I see it. It's a coyote. It had to be a coyote. It couldn't have been a bobcat. I was debating after, but it was a coyote. And it's looking at me. And I only see one. It's coming out of the woods. And then it all clicks at once. It's like, oh my God. I have been walking straight. I've been tracking this freaking coyote this whole time. Fresh tracks. I'm following it. Didn't even click. The river turned in a U up ahead. I think I pretty much kind of almost cornered this this coyote against the side of where this river turns. I think it's only one. I'm not sure if coyotes travel in packs or not. That's one thing I'm not sure of. I could have swore I heard another overlapping bark every now and then. If it could have been more of them in the woods. And this thing, okay, now I realize what's going on. You know, this coyote sees me. He's pissed. He's scared. He's about 250 feet away. Little less than a football field. And I'm carrying my walking stick. I got no gloves. And I'm thinking, how fast can this thing close the distance between me and it? Is he that angry? Is he rabid? You know, what are my options here? So I just stop, and I start moving backwards. I didn't go fast. I didn't go slow. And I could hear he's still upset, and he's still moving towards me. So I try not to appear scared, even from 250 feet away. And I glance back, and he's still coming forward. Not running, but he's still coming down the road towards me. You know, I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know if he's just going to launch and come back, you know, and close that distance. I'm going to have to use the stick. Let me tell you a story too. When I carry this stick, when I came across like large domestic dogs, like a Saint Bernard I came across, a Pit Bull, a German Shepherd, this works. I don't know why it works, but it's a tall walking stick. And I've done this before. I didn't want to hit the dog, so I banged it between me and the dog, straight up between us. And that's always worked with a domestic dog. The dog always looks confused, like, you know, I'm banging on the ground between me and him, and it seems to throw the dogs off. They stop and they stare at the stick and they kind of back. It's always worked about half dozen times. I'm thinking about that, and I'm not about to start banging, you know, I'm not about to do that with this wild animal. I'm thinking I'm going to have to swing and poke, you know, and just try to keep this thing away from me. And I'm thinking, out of all days, I don't have my gloves. I don't have anything to protect my legs, my gloves, my ankles, my hands. Always be prepared. The one day I wasn't prepared, I actually follow and corner a freaking coyote or more coyotes in the woods. Long story short, the barking stopped after maybe 20, 30 seconds of walking away from him. And he disappeared into the woods. But, you know, I don't know how fast, how many trails. I don't know if this thing could come out in front of me, behind me, on the sides of me. I've seen them do that before on this very trail. I've seen them go in front of me and then come around behind me. This was about 2 or 3 years ago, and that freaked me out. I was on a bike at that point, a mountain bike, and they came around in front of me and then came around behind me. So I was nervous the whole way back. And I'm looking at these tracks that I had just I was oblivious to the whole walk down, that I just ignored. Fresh as the snow, man. You know, you could see just completely fresh, not melted, not moved from anything from the wind or anything. Just fresh, completely fresh tracks. And I had been walking right on top of them, staring down at them the whole time, not even paying attention. No human tracks, just there. I measured them against my own feet. They were about 18 to 20 inches apart each tread. So it was a large animal. So always be prepared, guys. That one time you're not prepared, whether it's in the streets, in a city, trail, woods, park, whatever. Always be aware of your surroundings. Think, don't go inside your head, because there's things happen, and they're going to happen when you least expect it. So anyway, I made it back out and everything, and I'm gonna be more aware. I can't believe I was that oblivious that I walked for about almost an hour staring down at walking on top of a coyote's tracks, not even realizing that I was basically cornering him, following him right into the woods. All right, you guys have a good Tuesday. I'll be back later.